Well, hello and welcome, Prairie Rose classes and friends. We are so excited to be with you today, Mrs. Cannikins and Mrs. Nixdorf, to do some digital design. And today we are going to be using Seesaw. So if you use Seesaw, this is going to be a fun opportunity for you to think about the whole year that we've just had and learn and practice some Seesaw skills. Mrs. Nixdorf, why don't you say hi?
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Okay, so teachers, before we go on, there's a few things that you need to take care of on your end. So, what we're going to need you to do is you can find this setup list in the YouTube comments. You also might have got an email with this list. You're going to share an activity with your students. And so you'll find that activity link in either the email or the YouTube comments. And then you're going to follow this list step by step. Mrs. Nixdorf will also show you another way to get there. So if you can't get a link, just hold on, watch for a smidge, and Mrs. Nixdorf will also show you how to get to that spot. And so actually, Mrs. Nixdorf, why don't we just flip over to your screen and
Sure.
you can also show us how to get find this activity in our Prairie Rose District Library.
Okay. Right. So when you are going into, let's see here. There we go. Woo. Okay. When you are in your class, you can access the Activities tab in the right-hand side of the screen by clicking on Activities, and then you'll choose this Browse Resource Library. And we're going to move over here to the School and District tab. And your default will be Prairie Rose. So if you're outside of Prairie Rose, this probably isn't going to be available to you. But for all our Prairie Rose friends, the school and district library and then the Prairie Rose default, you'll see our year-end reflection here. And so you can just go ahead and click on it from here. And you'll see that there's this assign button. So you can choose assign. And then for those of you who only have one class, it will just give you that option. If you have multiple, then it will give you that option as well. So you'll choose the class that you want to assign this to. The usual setup instructions here for all of the assign features, and then just click on assign. Now, teachers, what's so great about this option is that then you can see your students' responses coming in live, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later.
And just go back to that tab, Mrs. Nixdorf, there. Teachers, if you're getting there from the link that we've sent, instead of when you get to this screen, instead of assign, it's going to say share. So
right
there's the steps that are in the previous slide or down below in the YouTube link. Those are a little bit different. So they'll get you to the spot that you need to be without having that assign button there. So just so you're aware that those are a little bit different. Okay, so Mrs. Nixdorf, I don't see why we couldn't just go ahead and get presenting.
Get started?
Yeah.
Okay. So students, once you're in your Seesaw class, you can go ahead and click on that Activities tab and you'll see this year-end review or year-end reflection. And you'll just click on that green button that says Add Response. And once you click on that, it's going to open up just like this. So you'll see these 4 pages in the right-hand side, and we're going to work through all 4. So teachers, this is a template that we've created that includes some frames and some different features in Seesaw. And you're welcome to create templates just like this yourself from a different lesson we've shared. So students, here we're going to add a picture of ourselves. So you can see this little camera icon. You're going to click on that. And when you click on this, it's going to open up a pop-up window. And we're going to choose photo today. If you had a really nice school picture, maybe you'd want to upload that a different time. But today we're going to choose photo. And you'll see now that there I am. You have 2 choices. You can use the space bar on your keyboard, or you can click on this little camera icon on the screen. Smile nice. And there we go. Your picture's been added to your frame. Now, friends, while we're waiting for everyone to add their pictures, I'm going to go ahead and click on this text box and I'm going to type in my name. And we're going to just take a quick look at some text edit tools. So I'm going to try to get my name so it's all in one line. So to do that, I'm going to click this middle circle and I'm just going to drag my cursor so that it's all on one line. And over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to choose the color sliding tool and I'm going to pick my favorite color for my name. There we go. And if you see this little arrow and a square box, I'm going to use that to rotate my text box to sort of match this frame. And then I'm going to click and drag it into place. So now I have my name added to my picture. And if we're still waiting for some friends, we can go ahead and click on these three dots. And I'm going to add a favorite shape. So I think I'm going to add the star over here. And I think I'm going to just drag this off my picture and I'm going to use the corner tool to click and drag to make this star a little bit bigger. Okay, what do you think, Mrs. Cannikins?
Let's add one more.
Okay, so I'm going to click these three dots again. I'm going to click on shapes, and I think this time I'm going to add the heart. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to move my heart over to this side. I think I'll rotate it again using that little arrow on the square, and we'll make it bigger. And I think I'm going to change the color of my heart to match my favorite color. So I'm just going to drag my sliding tool. There we go. That looks good. All right.
I have one other idea, Mrs. Nixdorf.
Let's hear it.
I'm wondering if we can change the background on this slide.
Oh, Mrs. Cannikins, you must be reading my mind because I was just thinking if we click these three dots, I see here there's a background. I'm going to choose background and you'll notice these little circles pop up for colors. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see some gradient options. And wouldn't you know it, there's a purple gradient. I think we should give it a try. Ooh, friends, look at that. So I have now all my favorite colors, favorite color added to the background, my name, and my favorite shape.
And
All
here, I
right.
thought your favorite colors were blue and orange.
Maybe not today. And let's move on to page number 2. So page number 2 is
Wait
a
a second,
drawing.
Mrs. Nixdorf, where are you finding these pages?
So if you're looking on the right-hand side of your project, you'll see that there's different numbers and tiles. And so I just completed page number 1, which was taking our picture. And I clicked on page number 2, which is our year-end reflection using the drawing tool. We're going to show our favorite thing about the school year. So maybe, friends, you want to draw your favorite field trip, or maybe you have a favorite book that you read this year or favorite project. You go ahead and think up an idea about what your favorite thing at school was this year. I think I'm going to try and draw my favorite book, which was Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. So I'm going to use some drawing tools. You'll see down here at the bottom of your screen these different pen tools. And when we see this finger pointer in the little box, that's what our sort of click feature is. We've got a nice pencil, a pen, a highlighter. And Mrs. Cannikins, did we call this our spray can pen?
That is a spray can pen.
Okay, so again, we can choose a tool. You can use the slider on the right-hand side of your screen to change the color. And I'm just going to show you what that spray can looks like. Ooh, look at that. Okay, now if I don't like something I've done, I can come over here to this bottom right-hand tool, the eraser, and I can just go ahead and go over top of whatever I've just done and get rid of it. So let's get rid of that spray can tool. And I think I'm going to try to use some shapes maybe to do some drawing first. So I'm going to click on shapes and I'm going to use a circle tool to try to draw the pigeon's head. Oh boy. So here we go. Now, this is from memory, friends, so you have to forgive me if this doesn't just look like Mo Willems' pigeon. All right. Now, friends, we have a couple of options. I need a few more circles. And so I'm going to come back over here to these three dots. I'm going to choose shapes again, and then I'll select circle. You'll see it popped up on the screen. I can click in the middle and move it anywhere I want. I can use the corner tool to drag and make it smaller. And I'm going to make this his eye. So I'm going to change the color to white. And I need one more circle. So I can choose these three dots here and choose duplicate. Do you see that? I've got another circle. This time we're going to turn it black so it's the inside of his eye. And I'll make it a little bit smaller. Ooh, there we go. All right, let's try to add a beak. So I'm coming back over here to the shapes tool. And let's find a beak shape. How does that triangle look? Not bad, but it's the wrong direction. So we'll use this little arrow and the square, and we're going to rotate it. There we go. And I think his beak is more of a yellow color. What do you think, Mrs. Cannikins?
Yeah, yellow or orange seems pretty bird beaky to
There
me.
we go. We'll make it just a little bit smaller. And there we go. Ooh, he's looking pretty good. All right, let's try. I think let's try our highlighter tool. And I'm going to try to draw his body. So this is a little bit tricky. I'm going to match the colors good as I can to his head. Ooh, there we go. And we're going to just try to draw the pigeon's body. Oh dear. Here we go, friends. It's a little tricky, but you can just keep practicing. And remember, we can always erase if we don't quite like how it turned out. Whoop, there we go. Well, that's not bad. And you'll notice when I use this highlighter pen, it sort of adds a shading when I go over top of places I've already colored in. That's okay. All right, I think I'm going to choose the pen tool and we'll make it just a smidge darker and we'll draw a wing. How's this looking? Whoop, there we go. Ooh, that's close. We'll go with it for now. How's that?
Looks
And
like a bird, Mrs. Nixdorf.
I think the pigeon needs some legs. Whoop. And we'll draw one more leg, but I think he's kind of falling off. Whoops, he's falling off the page. So we're just going to go with that for now. Now I'm going to try a different shape, friends. I'm going to use this call out bubble shape. And inside of here, I'm going to add the book title. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Whoop. There we go. And then I'm going to add the text box and I'm going to type in my title. Don't let the pigeon drive the bus. Whoop, there we go. Oh, now that's not in my call out bubble and it's maybe not quite the right shape. So let's move it over. I'll use again, remember friends, this middle circle so I can click and drag. Oh, there we go. That's going to fit nicely. But you know, I don't really like that outline. So you'll notice I've got the text box highlighted. I'm going to click these three dots. I'm going to select style and I'm going to deselect. Oh my goodness, it keeps going off. There we go. I'm going to deselect that outline. Ooh, that looks much better, don't you think? There we go. Okay, friends. So while you're working, keep going, adding all of the details about your favorite thing from this year in school. When you're ready, you can move over on the right-hand side and choose page number 3.
Teachers, if you need a little bit more time here before we go on to the next one, you can just pause the video and join us on the YouTube video when you're ready to continue.
Okay, so friends, page 3 is a word cloud. We're going to play around with the text tool. And in this page, we're going to add adjectives, which are describing words about yourself. And so we want to think of words that describe you inside of school and maybe outside of school. So, what kind of a learner are you? What did you really like learning about this year in school? Maybe you are a fact master or a fraction master. Maybe you like to read. Maybe you like gym and you've really started to work on soccer. Oh, let's start coming up with some ideas. So we're going to click on this text box. You'll see that it popped up here, and I'm going to add the word reader. But that's not inside my cloud. So I'm going to click and drag, and I can move this anywhere I want. So again, we can use the rotate tool to sort of move it around. And I can click these three dots with my text box and I can choose style. I can change the font. Ooh, maybe I like this comic. Kind of fun. And you'll see that we have different styles. So we can have a no outline, we can have an outline, or let's try this one where we sort of highlight the background. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, I can change the color of the font on the inside, or sorry, the highlighter on the outside, and the font will sort of adjust with contrast for the background. So there we go. Ooh, that's nice. All right. Mrs. Cannikins, would you like to join in with some words that we can add to our word cloud?
Well, you said soccer, so you could add a sport like
Oh,
soccer.
sure. All right. Whoop, whoop. So again, friends, just like when we were using our drawing tools, I can highlight this text box and I can click Control D and it's going to bring another text box. I can double click inside and change the word. There we go. Now they're all looking too much alike. I think we need to make some changes here. So I'm going to choose style and I'm going to pick a different font. And I think I'm going to take that background off. There we go. Now, I really like soccer, Mrs. Cannikin, so I'm going to use the corner circle to drag and make it bigger. I really want soccer to stand out there. And let's change our joyful font. So friends, you're thinking up words that describe you, and you go ahead and add those to your page right now. There we go. Oh boy, we better get my favorite color on here.
So many good colors to choose from.
They're just unbelievable how many good choices. If I click in the middle circle, I can drag and make that box smaller. There we go. And maybe I think joyful should be larger too. Woo! That's pretty large. So friends, you want to have probably 4 or 5 different words that describe you on your page. Okay.
Can you show us one more time how to get rid of the border altogether so it's just the word?
You bet. So we've got our text box outlined. I'm going to click those 3 dots. I choose style, and then I come down here where there's a circle and no outline. When I click on that, boom, there it is. It's gone. There we go. And I can click in that text box and drag it anywhere on the page I want.
Before you change that one anymore, one of the things we always want to remember as designers is something that we call accessibility, and that can often come into play when we have colors, so different colors against each other. So when I look at this and I look at all those words, there I know there's like a green word in the middle, but the contrast between the white background and that light bright green color isn't enough, and so it's really hard for me to read that, Mrs. Nixdorf. So
You're right.
I'm gonna suggest that we should probably change the text. Oh, that's better. We should change
That's
the
much
text
better.
color so it has a better what we call contrast, and that means that it makes our work easy to see for everybody.
You're right. And that's a really good catch, Mrs. Cannikin. So, friends, we want to make sure that we have a nice contrast between the cloud white background and the color of the font that we choose. So, even soccer could be a little bit darker to make it a little bit more accessible. I think you're right, Mrs. Cannikins.
So
Okay, friends. So
I see lots of things that we can do. So we can change the container that our word is in. We can change the color of our word. We can change the size of our word. We can change the font of our word. So make sure that this word cloud should be a mix of all of those things.
that's right. All right. So I think we're ready to move on to our final slide. And this one is really exciting, friends. So we're going to move to slide number 4. Remember, on the far right-hand side, we'll choose tile number 4, and we're going to record a video. The question we want to answer is, what do you want to celebrate, or what great things happened at school this year? Now, teachers, this is a really exciting feature. It's a frame that's been pre-added to the template. So all students need to do is click on this record a video icon, and you're going to see in just a moment that the record tool is going to pop up, just like when we took a picture. So you can see now I can press the space bar or any of these icons to begin my recording. So I'm going to click it, and you can see a little countdown is going to start, and I'm ready to go. You can see now that this red bar has turned color, so I know that my recording started. You can see the time is starting to count up. And so I'm going to say one of the greatest successes I had this year was being able to read by myself. And so I'm going to leave my video at that, and I'm going to click this done green checkmark box. And teachers and friends, look at this. There's my video added perfectly inside here in this frame. So friends, right now, what we're going to ask you to do is, if teachers, you have our recording booths, you could use those. And if not, you might want to take your Chromebook and sit with your back up against the wall in your classroom and record your video now. When you think you have all 4 tiles done, you can click this green check mark up here in the right-hand side of your project, and that will turn this into your teachers. Mrs. Cannikins, how are we doing?
Great. So why don't you go ahead and click that box, and then we could actually show the teachers real quick before we go how they're going to find this information or what this is going to look like on their end. Oh, click
Okay.
on assign it to somebody there.
Okay, so I'm going to assign this here to my student number 12. Okay. And we're going to head back into, oops, there we go, green check mark. Now, students, you won't have to do so many steps. Your teacher will have taken care of these details. But teachers, this is the feature of activities that I love so much. So you can see in the journal feed that it popped up. But when I click on activities, and oh dear, there we go. And I see my activity here. If I click on review, you're going to be able to see all of your students' assignments populate as they click those green check marks and turn them in. So that's a really great way for you to be able to see at a glance who still needs to turn theirs in or who has turned theirs in. Now, teachers, this doesn't refresh on its own. So you'll notice in the top right-hand corner up here, this refresh button, that's what you're going to want to press to see any new additions that have been turned in. You don't want to use the refresh on the web browser. So make sure you're using this refresh tool over here inside the activity. All right. I think, Mrs. Cannikins, I'm going to stop presenting. There we go.
All right. So again, students, when you get in there, you are going to look for that activity button. We have more of these lessons coming on up. If you're in June in Prairie Rose, you can join us live on July 19th, Thursday, July 19th, June 19th at 1 p.m. And tomorrow we are going to do Google Slides digital designs, and we're gonna make some bugs, maybe like the one that you see on the screen. And then next week, Mrs. Nixdorf and I will be back again on June 23rd at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and we are going to do a year review lesson in Canva. And so we're going to review Canva skills, maybe learn some new Canva skills, and think about our year in review. And if you love these if you love these co-taught lessons where you can just watch on YouTube, press pause, press play, go at the speed that you need, stop for recess, come back in again. We have a whole library of pre-recorded co-taught lessons, and you can go to this link, PRPS or bit.ly/PRPS, that's capital part, and then co-taught. And we have a whole library there, including these 3 lessons will eventually be up there as well. So if you want lessons, you can see some of those are kind of Christmas themed. We've got lessons from all year long. You can find more lessons there if you want to build skills, digital skills, while having a lot of fun and doing artwork at the same time. So, Mrs. Nixdorf and I would like to say so
Thank
long.
you.
Have a
Bye
great
bye.